National Recycling Week kicks off in a few days. Did you know the U.S. repurposes or recycles nearly 96% of all tires discarded each year? That rate's higher than glass bottles, plastic bottles, or aluminum cans. Here to explain how those discarded tires are put to use, Dan Zielinski of the Rubber Manufacturers Association, and he joins us this morning from a tire processing facility in Baltimore, Maryland. Good morning, Dan.
Good morning. How are you?
Hey, we're doing fine here. Hope you are as well. Let's start with a new report by your organization, which shows progress in cleaning up scrap tire piles around the nation. Just how much progress are we talking about?
Well, we've made a great deal of progress over the last 25 years working toward reducing the number of stockpiled scrap tires, which back in 1990 were about 1 billion of them, to today when we only have about 75 million. Still a ways to go, but dramatic progress. More importantly, we've gone from about 10% reuse of scrap tires to about 95% of reuse back in 2013. So we're seeing an extraordinary success story when it comes to tires.
What are some of the top new uses for tires?
The top 3 uses for scrap tires are something called tire-derived fuel, crumb rubber, and civil engineering applications.
So those are a lot of big ideas. Give me a sort of a tangible example as a regular American.
Sure.
Where am I seeing tires and I might not even realize it?
Sure. Well, what happens when we talk about tire-derived fuel, for instance, the tires are kind of shredded and chipped down to pieces like this, and they're used as a solid fuel in cement kilns and pulp and paper factories. They're also used for some electrical generation. Crumb rubber is when the tires are further processed and they remove the steel and the fiber. It can create something like this called rubber mulch, which is used in playground cover and also can be used in athletic turf fields. Crumb rubber, I should say, is used in rubber modified asphalt back into the roads. It can even be made into a mat just like this that can be used in all sorts of applications. I'm standing on one like that right now. And also other materials that come out of the tires is actually the steel when they take out of the tires too. That's packaged and sold back to steel mills where it's used as a raw material to make new steel.
What are the risks? I mean, this is fascinating, but this idea of, I remember growing up and seeing scrap tire piles with some regularity. What were the risks in those?
The biggest risk of lots of tires and piles is fire hazard. If a tire pile catches fire, tires have a very high heat content because they are used as a fuel, and they can burn for a very long period of time. They're difficult to extinguish, and they leave behind a significant mess that costs a great deal to clean up. So we want to make sure that those piles are reduced and reduce that hazard. But also tires, as you can tell, they can collect water. And when they collect water, standing water becomes a haven and a breeding ground for mosquitoes, and that could lead to the spread of disease. And it can also attract other rodents and things that are just not good for public health.
As individuals, are there specific things that we can do to make sure that the tires, when we go to put a new set on our cars, that those that are being taken off then are being recycled or reused in some way?
Well, I think the best thing that an individual consumer can do for their tires is to help them last longer. Ultimately, all tires will go into the waste stream, but you can do your part to keep them out of that waste stream as long as possible. And it just takes some very simple care. Check the inflation pressure every month, inspect the tread for damage, have the tires rotated and the wheels aligned, and you'll get the most life out of your tires and help keep those tires out of the waste stream.
Is there a website, Dan, with some more information in case our viewers would like to continue learning online?
Sure, we have all these statistics about what happens to tires when they're discarded on our website, which is www.rma.org.
Thank you, Dan. Appreciate your time today.
Sure, thank you.
Mike?